It's 11:47 p.m., 37,000 feet above the ocean. The cabin lights are dimmed, most passengers asleep, dreaming of wherever they're headed. Then, without warning, the cockpit radio clicks on. A calm voice speaks 8 words. Not a demand, not a threat, just a statement. Radar operators watch the blip hesitate, then turn sharply off its assigned route. This flight will never land where it's supposed to. And when it finally reappears 9 hours later, everyone on board will be gone. 98 people vanished from a sealed aircraft in midair. This is the story of the flight that came back empty. Let's start with what we know. The aircraft is a mid-size commercial jet. Think Boeing 737 or Airbus A320. 92 passengers, 6 crew members. A routine overnight flight, short haul, nothing unusual. The kind of flight that happens 10,000 times a day around the world. The captain is a veteran pilot with over 11,000 flight hours. That's the equivalent of flying for more than a year straight without landing. The first officer is younger, meticulous, by the book. These aren't rookies, these are professionals. The passengers? Ordinary people, business travelers heading home, families, a few tourists. Background checks later reveal nothing suspicious. No one on board is flagged, no one is supposed to be dangerous. Takeoff is smooth. The flight climbs to cruising altitude without incident. For 40 minutes, everything is completely normal. And then, everything changes. At 11:46 p.m., a flight attendant calls the cockpit. There's a disturbance in the rear cabin. Before the captain can respond, the cockpit door buzzer sounds. Someone is requesting entry. Now here's where things get strange. What happens next is reconstructed from audio fragments, crew training protocols, and the plane's own data logs. The door opens, and within seconds, the transponder code changes. For those who don't know, a transponder is how air traffic control identifies and tracks aircraft. Changing the code is like your plane suddenly broadcasting something is very wrong. It's the aviation equivalent of a silent alarm. That single act tells air traffic control everything they need to know. This is no longer a normal flight. Controllers issue repeated commands. Flight redacted, respond. Flight redacted, confirm your status. No response. Instead, the aircraft begins a slow, deliberate turn away from land, away from airports, away from help. Military radar briefly tracks it as it veers off course. Then, one by one, systems go dark. The plane doesn't explode, it doesn't descend, it simply vanishes from radar. And that's when the nightmare really begins. Search and rescue launches within hours. Ships, aircraft, satellites, everything available is thrown at finding this plane. They search for debris, oil slicks, floating luggage, anything. They find nothing. No crash site, no mayday call, no bodies. For 9 hours, the aircraft is officially classified as missing. Families are notified. News outlets begin reporting. The world watches and waits for the inevitable tragic ending we've seen before. But what happens next isn't tragic. It's impossible. Just before sunrise at 8:14 a.m., a radar operator notices something. A familiar shape appears on the screen. An aircraft. Same altitude, same speed, same identification code. It's the missing plane. But it's flying on autopilot. No radio response, no deviation, no explanation. It's just flying, perfectly straight, like nothing ever happened. Fighter jets are scrambled, and what they see defies every law of aviation. The fighter pilots pull alongside. They can see into the cockpit windows. The windows are intact. The engines are running smoothly. The plane is flying perfectly straight. But inside, no movement. The plane is a ghost ship, 37,000 feet in the air. The aircraft is finally forced to land at a remote military airstrip. Armed response teams rush on board, prepared for hijackers, terrorists, anything. What they find is worse than anything they imagined. Seats are buckled, but empty. Carry-on luggage is still in the overhead bins. Meals are half-eaten on tray tables. Phones are left behind on seats. Shoes sit beneath empty chairs, like people just evaporated. The cockpit is spotless. No blood, no signs of struggle, no indication of violence whatsoever. But there's one detail that terrifies investigators more than anything else. Every single life vest is missing, all 98 of them. So let me ask you the question that kept investigators awake for years. How do 98 people vanish from a sealed aircraft in mid-air? No parachutes are missing from storage because commercial jets don't carry them. No emergency slides are deployed. Flight data shows the doors were never opened mid-flight. Black box data shows no decompression event. Cabin pressure remained stable the entire time. So opening a door at cruising altitude, that didn't happen. That would have been catastrophic and would have shown up in the data. Theory 1, a highly organized hijacking. Maybe the hijackers forced everyone off somehow, then left the plane flying unmanned. But there's a massive problem with this theory. There's no known method for evacuating a commercial jet at cruising altitude without killing everyone in the process. And here's the other thing. No group ever claims responsibility. No ransom demands, no political message, just silence. Theory 2, the plane descended unnoticed. Low altitude, oxygen deprivation, mass incapacitation. But flight data contradicts this. The aircraft never drops below safe pressure thresholds. And even if everyone passed out from hypoxia, that doesn't explain where the bodies went. Extensive searches of the ocean below the flight path find nothing. Not one trace, not a single body. Theory 3, an inside job. Attention turns to the captain, the crew, the possibility of someone orchestrating this from within. Background checks are run and rerun, financial records, psychological evaluations, extremist ties. Nothing. No financial distress, no radicalization, no red flags whatsoever. But the cockpit voice recorder holds one final twist. In the last audible seconds before the communications blackout, a third voice is heard. Not the captain, not the first officer, someone else. The voice isn't panicked, it isn't aggressive, it's calm, almost rehearsed. The words are partially recovered. This will be easier if you comply. No one has ever identified the speaker. The official investigation is quietly closed after 2 years. The report concludes, cause undetermined. Families are given death certificates without bodies. The aircraft is dismantled and studied piece by piece. The black boxes are sealed. Certain sections of the findings remain classified to this day. Years later, aviation experts still study this case in hushed tones because it violates something fundamental about how we understand aviation disasters. Planes crash, we understand that. Planes are hijacked, we have protocols. Planes disappear, it's rare, but it happens. Somewhere between takeoff and landing, this flight crossed into a space we still don't understand. 98 people stepped onto an aircraft and ceased to exist. No bodies, no trace, no explanation. And whatever happened up there at 37,000 feet above the ocean in the dead of night with 98 souls on board, it has never happened again that we know of. If you found this mystery as unsettling as I did, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the unexplained. And let me know in the comments, what do you think happened to those 98 people? Was it a hijacking gone wrong, a government cover-up, or something we can't even begin to explain? Until next time, stay curious and maybe think twice before your next red-eye flight.